you guys. Action.
Hi everyone, I'm Sinead, that's Brian.
Hi.
We're back again to talk about making a no-budget feature film and our experience of it. And as Brian talked about last time, collaboration is essential. And it's probably one of the hardest things to do, and it's something you need to do before you even start the process of making any sort of film. So we're going to chat a little bit more about that, about our experience of collaboration, and more importantly, how you actually find people to collaborate with.
And there's one thing, in my opinion, that will scare you off and make you hate this part of filmmaking more than anything. And it's one word that everybody bangs on about, and yet I personally am yet to meet an indie filmmaker that relishes off, thrives off of it. I don't know if it's naturally a creative space, but the word that I'm talking about is
networking. Horrible. I hate that word. I don't like it in any capacity, whether it be filmmaking or any sort of work environment. I don't think anybody wants to network.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the trouble with networking is, and especially in film, you're always told to get out there and network, go out there and network, and it implies that you need to go out there and find people that can do something for you.
Which is kind of true, but the idea is that you're sharing skills and that you're meeting people with a similar mindset.
Exactly. The word networking, Sinead knows, the word networking implies that you're out there just to find people that are useful to you, and it doesn't imply that you're giving anything back. And actually, successful networking is more about helping people, because they're the ones who will come back to you and work with you again and again and again. I think that's right. I
just think it's a really unhelpful word. I don't know anybody that wants to go and do that. So to even have it in your vocabulary, I don't think it's helpful in any way, shape or form. I think going out and just meeting people and sharing stories and, finding people that have similar interests to you is a much less stressful thing than the idea of networking, where you're going to find, this amazing group of people and you're going to work with them forevermore. I think let's ditch the word networking to start with. You never quite know where you're going to meet somebody that you might end up creating something with. Film nights or festivals are obviously a really, really good way of doing it, because you're going into an evening where people are obviously interested in the same things as you. There's lots of local film nights that go on, particularly if you're in a larger city, but I would say seek out film nights that you can find in your local area, and equally film festivals. There's lots of short film festivals or larger film festivals going on. I mean, you only have to look on Film Freeway to see the amount of festivals that there are across the UK.
And just to jump in, if you can't find one, do what we did and start one. Because when Mai came to us and said, look, there's this space we can use, shall we start our own short film night? And we were like, well, yeah, let's give it a whirl. We did one a month for a year, and we met some amazing people, incredible people, and got to screen their films and got to meet these raw talents. And these are people we've worked with since. People have helped us on our shoots.
That's what I was going to say. We actually ended up working with people whose films had been in the festival in some capacity. I think also, as well as film nights and festivals, volunteering on shoots, volunteering for festivals to work with people is also a great way to get chatting and to get starting to kind of meet people. Not least as well, film courses, and that doesn't mean to go off and do a huge degree or to go and sign yourself up to a course at the NFTS, which if you've got the money and you want to do it,
If you can afford to do it and get in.
Go for it. But if you don't, there's lots of short courses that you can go on. Rain Dance, Living Spirit, Shooting People often has jobs and little courses advertised. There's lots of social media forums, there's lots of Facebook groups, if you still use Facebook, there's lots of Facebook groups that you can get involved with. There's a writing group called Bang to Write, which is amazing and very supportive of people that are trying to break into script writing or even further into it than that. So there's lots of things to kind of seek out. So I think there's lots of social media groups as well that can be really helpful. I know there's a Facebook group called Filmmakers of London.
Yeah.
So I'm sure, you know, there must be lots of different ones throughout the country that people can try and, you know, befriend people on.
There are, and just to talk about that a little bit more, in those courses in the past where I've been, I went to one with Living Spirit for a weekend. The Guerrilla Filmmakers Blueprint, by the way, is an excellent book, and it might be slightly outdated now maybe, but because of the advancement in technology, but the principles are exactly right. But from the back of that, I would suggest as well that you then learn how to volunteer. So it's not about being out of pocket, it's not about being a martyr, it's not about putting anyone out of work. And I want to clarify that. You never put a professional out of work. But when it comes to being a runner, or it comes to just getting yourself onto a set, be a driver, be someone who'll bring the food along. You know, you don't have to give days and days and days of your time. But just be someone that adds a bit of value to something. Make sure that you're not being taken advantage of, obviously. But it can be a real win-win situation. I know I have exchanged skills with people, and that's the way we like to do it, rather than it being a volunteering basis. You know, if you help me, I will help you. So help me shoot my feature if you're a DP, and I'll make sure you shoot something on 35mm.
The first step is this whole putting yourself out there, which is the most difficult thing, the most horrible thing. Neither of us like doing it, but it's the only way to do it. And just be aware that people are nice. People don't want to be horrible. People want to meet people. They want to be friendly. They want, trust me, like whatever fear you have of what might happen, it's not going to happen. People are going to be really lovely.
And sorry, can I also say that they're all scared too.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's there that's scared. Some are better at pushing themselves forward, and I'll give them that. And they're usually the youngest ones. And then you start to feel, if you're a little bit older like me, like, wow, how are you so brave, so young? I don't think it necessarily is brave. But, give yourself a chance. Give yourself a break. If you do go to that film night, if you don't really speak to anyone, maybe one person, hello, and that's it. That's cool. That's one step further than you were a week ago. And if you can repeat that over and over and over again, eventually you'll get tired of being scared of saying hello, and you'll just go up to someone and say hi, and really drop yourself in it occasionally. I remember the first time we went to Cannes, and to have a meeting in Cannes with someone who's a serious professional that has some serious money, and you're sitting opposite them trying to pitch them. It's petrifying, but it really ultimately doesn't matter. Because you know what? It's consistency. Because you turn up next year and they don't remember you, but your face rings a bell. And that's all I'm saying is just keep going back. Go to that film night every single time it happens. You don't have to speak. People who came to our film night didn't speak for the first 3 or 4 months. And then after a while you're like, oh, you're back again. And they go, oh yeah. And that's their road in. So it's everything in film. Consistency.
Completely. Consistency I think is really important, and just you saying that makes me think that if you are incredibly nervous about approaching people or chatting to people at an event, if you do volunteer to help out, it actually becomes slightly easier to approach people, because if you volunteer to do something, be it check guest names when they come in, you've got an immediate conversation starter with somebody. So in a way,
and you're adding value.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing is, you need to add value. It's not up to them to find something for you. No one owes you anything. You can find something that adds value to them.
Talk to people about it. Don't be kind of embarrassed or shy, because once you start talking to people about it, even if it's friends who have never spoken to you about film before, you'll be surprised who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. So by mentioning it to a friend or a casual acquaintance, you might find out that they know a director that's looking for somebody to come and help out on a film shoot, or they know a writer that wants somebody to have a look at their script and give some feedback on.
Might be that sometimes dropping an email, and I've done this, and I know who I was just talking about has done this. You drop an email to someone and you offer to buy them a coffee because you want to pick their brains and find out what they know. you'll be amazed how many people actually will come along, because they were where you are now at some point. We all were. And none of us, I don't believe, feel that far away from it. Maybe huge Hollywood directors do, I don't know, but I certainly don't. So invest in yourself. You know, that 30 quid that a book costs, a night costs, a train ticket costs to go and see someone, 20 quid to buy them a coffee, whatever, ultimately, you know, could save you a fortune. It could save you a lot of time, it could make you feel great, it could give you the impetus you need, and that's what you need to do. Invest in you.
Absolutely. Have a coffee budget. I agree. I think buying someone a coffee buys you a whole heap more than, you know, than what you think it does. But if you don't have money, I don't believe that you need it either. A lot of film nights are incredibly cheap to go to. Some are free, you know, so there are other ways to kind of do that without having to sort of spend money. And you know, you'll know when you reach a point of, you know, I've spent enough on courses and books and things like that. I mean, to be honest, like you're never going to spend enough on that, in terms of you're always going to get something from some experience, or you're always going to need to learn something more, you know, continue to sort of expand your mind. But there also comes a point where there's only so much of that you can do before just pick up the bloody camera and get out there and do something with it.
Everyone you meet, just add something to their life. And if you add something to their life, you know what, they'll come back into yours again and again.
Oh, that's sweet.
Cool. Thanks. I suppose on that note, we will stop recording, because this is probably going to be our longest video ever.
Yeah.
But obviously, if anybody has any questions about that, if anybody wants to know any more about that, you can always contact us below.
If anybody knows of any good groups or courses or anything,
Yeah.
drop them in the comments below so that other people can actually find out about them as well. We'll add in the links to things that we've talked about, but yeah, if you know of any good groups or courses or anything, pop it in the comments.
So, you know, fill it up down below if you want, and let's help some people make some steps in the right direction. Thanks, Sinead.
Thanks, Brian.